Welcome back, everyone. Episode 2 of Iteration 5, official episode 2, kind of episode 3, whatever you want to say. But we're back for another week. Happy to be back, and we apologize last week. The episode did come out late. Came out on Monday. If you haven't seen it, go see it. There is an episode 1. It did come out late. We talked about it'd be a miracle if it got out on time, which it didn't. So no miracle happened that week, but we did delay it due to the recent events that happened on that day, and we will get into that further into the podcast. But let's start with a lighter intro segment. Let's continue with the 20 questions.
Oh, wait. So
anyone got an item?
Surely we've planned to have an item ready, someone.
I didn't have anyone.
Sai, you have your item ready, yeah?
Does it have to be esports related still?
Yeah, think
yes,
of it.
it's still esports related.
That's what this podcast is. Come on.
It's about esports.
Okay, I have a thing.
Okay.
You got something?
I
Okay.
got something.
Oh, let me pull up the tick. The tally tracker,
Tick.tv.
tally counter. Alright, I'm here. Let's go.
Okay. Can you eat it?
No.
Shit.
First
I like that
question.
question.
I was gonna
Is
guess
it-
the cowtails or whatever.
It's not
Is
esports
it-
related.
It could be. Is it a tangible object?
No.
Is it a program?
No.
It's electronic? That was a dumb question.
Yeah, you want to take
Just
that back?
don't even
Take that
count that.
back.
Yeah, I'm taking that one back. Do
Redact that
not
one?
answer that.
Okay.
Is it something
a
that any of
person?
us have interacted with?
Maybe.
Wait, what about my question? Was it a person?
Oh, no.
If it's Cal, we asked if it was tangible. People are tangible.
Oh, dude, I am fumbling.
Hey, don't
so
give him
hard.
that.
Back,
I'm not
guys,
giving
he's
him
back. What the heck?
Cat.
Cat.
Is it that
Cat.
cat?
It's not the cat.
Back.
Oh, well, that's a question.
He had to make his appearance on the show.
Yeah,
real.
it's like he knows we're recording.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Or
back
just
to
hears
the
you
questions.
talking.
Wait, so
People.
what was the last question that we asked?
Have we interacted with it?
So it's,
No. The last question we
was it?
asked was, is it a person?
and what was the answer?
No,
No.
because it's not tangible. I shouldn't have asked it.
Is it a social media platform?
No.
You had to think
You
about
have to think
that
about
one.
that one a little.
Yeah, you had to think about that.
Should have
there's
asked
some
if it was a
thinking involved.
website first.
What do you want to
Cool.
ask that now?
Is that your second?
Uh,
Is that a follow-up?
Are we an agreement team?
Is it a
I don't know.
website?
That's a good one.
I'm not the only one playing this game.
It is not a website.
Oh.
It's not a program. It's not a website. It's electronic. It's not tangible.
Is this something that's found on my computer?
It can be.
Okay.
Do you have to download it?
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Two
Oh,
cats.
there's 2 cats now.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
I have no idea.
If it's not a website and you sort of have to download it, where is this ethereal space that it's a part of?
That's not a yes or no question. You
I know, but I'm confused.
Think more like concept and less thing.
Is it a league?
Is
Is
it a
it-
term?
Is it a term? Isn't everything a term?
Well,
No,
like,
because like
you know,
Photoshop, the
you know.
program, isn't a term. To Photoshop
Is-
something is a term.
It is not a term.
Is it a
Okay.
part of the computers you use or no?
No.
How many questions are we on? How many-
Yeah.
We're
I
at
think
10.
you've
I feel like
I think I picked a too niche, tricky one.
is.
We'll get better.
I want to know.
Is it?
I want to get this.
Is it?
Is it directly related to Overwatch?
No. Well, there is a link.
Oh my god! So it's not directly though. So there's a
Like
link.
it's part of it. Like it
Is it?
has
Is it?
influence.
Is it?
Code.
Is it ping?
No.
Algorithm.
No.
Syntax.
Well, we were rapid
I give up on
Let's
keeping
pull it
track.
back, team. Let's
Yeah,
pull
we
it
hit
back.
30.
Could it? Is it related to the like competitive side of esports?
Yes.
Does it have a
Okay.
UI interface?
It's not
No.
a program.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean whatever.
I mean, I feel like it should. Is it related to multiple games?
Yes.
Okay, I felt that was a given.
Is
but I
it
just
a
wanted to
game?
make sure.
Is it a system within games?
No.
I don't like that answer.
Is it a popular topic to talk about on Twitter?
Yes.
Oh, narrowing it down. It could be anything.
We're on like 40 questions.
We're on 17.
Okay, but it can't be a
Okay,
system.
okay.
It can't be a system within. We're on 17.
Yeah, we're on 17.
Okay, actually,
Oh, I thought we were at 20. Like
it
a while
relates
ago.
to a system in games. It relates to a system in games.
Okay.
Okay, so he's complaining about ranked matchmaking right now, so we need to figure it out. We need to
No,
figure
I'm
out
not.
how-
Is it matchmaking?
No, it's not.
Okay. I didn't think so. But it kind of relates to Overwatch, so I'm assuming it's not a very prominent thing in
But it can
Overwatch.
relate to a lot of games, though. You have to think of
Yeah.
something that, like...
It's not Overwatch specific, is what I meant.
Yeah.
The report system? I'm not. That's not a question. Don't answer that. Do we want to?
Is it the report system?
No.
Shit.
We should have reconvened. We're at 18 now.
Oh.
Can you give us a hint with these last two?
Yeah.
It is
Give us
a
a hint.
group of people.
Fans.
No.
Is it
Those
a...
are tangible. Wait, group
Oh.
of people.
People
But
very-
like the people aren't what it is.
Yeah, I see. Is it a? You guys think it's a type of rank?
Is it bronze?
No.
I don't know.
Don't ask is it silver. Whatever you do.
That'd be good.
Group of people.
We don't have clans in Overwatch, so I can't
No,
ask
we
that.
don't. Could it be like the?
Sai, if that's your
No,
your
that's
answer,
up
then
the right alley. I'm saying it's up
is
the
it
right
like
alley.
is it like a
grouping?
What?
Groups? Is it groups?
Yep. Group. It's a. But like what? What
is
kind of
it
group?
duo queue?
No.
No, you need for groups. You need more than one person.
Oh, you were talking about like in-game groups. I was
Yeah.
talking about like
I
community
just-
groups.
It says a community. We're beyond 20.
Is
by
it
the
is
way.
it LFG?
No.
It's a community.
Give
Is
us
it a? Yeah, give us something.
It has to. It is a group of people that
Mm-hmm.
hyper focus on one aspect of gameplay.
Is it like aim group?
Yes.
Oh.
No.
Well, I don't know what that
Um,
is.
Like
the,
an
Oh,
aim-
in-group is.
Like
People
I
that
can't
just
think of
focus
any.
on-
What's the one? I can't.
I don't know their name, but I literally used to. I did some work for them in
Like
the past.
Yuki?
Voltic.
Yeah.
Yuki,
Voltic,
Voltic, yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
So
it
is
is.
it just people that like to aim? That's it?
Yep.
That's what
Now,
it is?
now it's all
Yeah.
one.
That's literally what
Oh,
it is.
that's kind of wholesome.
Oh,
They
look
just
at
like
look at
shoot
them.
their
Like
guns.
the
Look at them on aim labs. Look at their
Yeah.
circles.
Like the
Maybe
people
that
that,
was-
sit
that was
in
too
those like
niche.
custom games that like it's like
No, it was a
one
good
thing
option.
and it like
Yeah.
throws them up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Exactly
fun.
that.
I think we'll get better with it as we go. We just gotta know what questions to ask, like to narrow it down more. You know.
But I couldn't
Who's
eat
that?
it.
For top 500
Yeah.
21 questions players.
Yeah,
Surely.
we'll get there. We're silver right now
Yeah.
because we did get the Lucios on like 2. So
Well,
Really?
because
That's
I'm
true.
just a god of guessing.
yeah, it's an edible.
It narrows down like half the things on the planet.
Yeah, true. Everything on the planet you can either eat or not eat.
Yeah, that's how I divide my stuff. That's how I organize everything. Oh,
Same.
is this
Half my
edible?
house is what I can eat, and half my house isn't.
It's true. But all right.
You can technically
Good.
eat anything if you put your mind to it.
That's
Sorry.
true.
Okay,
No, that's true.
I would like to see you eat the Eiffel Tower. Go for it.
I'm going
Start
to
now.
Paris in like 2 months. I'll fucking do it. I'll send a photo to this group chat.
Of you
And
eating
then
the
I'll
Eiffel
look. And then I'll get
By
kicked
beast.
out of Paris.
I think you'd be jailed.
And then you'll be an international criminal.
Say
Where
that
did the
you- that's
Someone
what
stole the Eiffel Tower.
That's
It's,
me.
it's just foggy lying down. There's just a giant like.
It's like the four. It's like the four pictures. Me with the giant Eiffel Tower shaped belly. Sorry. Anyways, let's go back to it. Sorry. Anyways, what were you gonna say? Transition us.
Transitioning to
Yeah.
so it was a good intro segment. Hold on, sorry, 1 second. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
But right, I lost my train of thought.
So valid.
What happened this week? That's what we're going to talk about.
Ooh.
So, as some of you may know, on Wednesday, the Guard announced, without any warning, that they were dropping, I would say, a majority of their staff. Most of them. That turns out a few of them were still hired, but a lot, an unnecessary amount. And due to that, we didn't post the video that day. We felt it's a sad thing in esports to see a top contender just vanish in seconds when no warning, right? And the guard, I mean, they've been doing amazing stuff for the past 2 years, 3. I mean, even since Glad's season 1, right? So 5-6 years.
I
that was the
believe,
guard, right?
No, it was Sentinel's ownership then.
Yeah, it's
You're
taken
right.
us.
You're right. That's my fault. But even the time the guard has been around, they have been doing awesome stuff. And I don't think anyone can deny that they had one of the coolest teams out there for esports staff. And it sucks to see a lot of our friends just go LFT because there's no warning coming, and I'm assuming they're not getting any severance or anything like that. So it's just a messed up situation, and so we delayed the episode because of that. We felt that we talked a lot about the positives of esports in our last episode, and as we can clearly see, there's a lot of negatives as well. And just as a quick disclaimer, if there is some employer out there or someone who's hiring, we've linked a spreadsheet down in the description of all the guard staff that have been laid off. I'm assuming majority of them are still looking for jobs at this point. Maybe a few of them have already found jobs, but please go take a look if you're looking to hire anything, commission, something. It's a terrible situation to be in, and so everyone wants to make sure we do our due diligence to help everyone out, because they would do it if it happened to another team.
Yeah.
Lots of talented people there with like the industry experience that it's proven by like the work that guard has put out. So definitely, if you're looking for any of those kind of positions, it's definitely a good idea to probably go and check the spreadsheet.
Yeah, 100%.
They set the standard for sure.
Yeah.
It
They're doing such good things too. It breaks my heart to see. Like, I know that a lot of like people weren't even able to back up a lot of their personal files off the PCs. I know that a lot of people lost their portfolios that day as well, and like a lot of work that they were working on. So, tough times.
Yeah. It's a terrible situation, but doesn't get any better clearly, as today the summit
Beyond the Summit.
Beyond the Summit, I'm sorry. Yeah, they also announced that they're laying off a bunch of their employees.
I think the whole company, right?
The whole company is shutting down.
Yeah,
that
it's shutting
company.
down. So
Yeah, Beyond the Summit.
yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, you can go.
Oh no, Beyond the Summit's been around for forever. I think as long as I've been watching esports, there's been a summit for whatever game. Mostly, I found them and picked them up through Ludwig, through Melee, and then watching like different Smash summits and stuff like that. But I'm just a massive fan of their whole team. They put out probably the best productions in esports that I've seen. Not to mention like their video team, Friday Lunch, makes amazing stuff. It's just, after like reading the announcement from the CEO today, you can really tell that like they're trying to do as well as they can. Like they're trying to do right by their employees. They're saying that like we could try to limp along, but we want to make sure that if we have to shut down, that our employees have the severance pay they deserve and that they have the opportunity to go and look for work. So I mean, it's heartbreaking, honestly, as someone who like loves all the productions that Beyond the Summit does. But I think ultimately they're making the correct but also a very hard decision to make.
Yeah. This recession's hitting hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was there like quite literally like a month ago working on our invitational with like Wolfie and Beast Coast, and just like meeting everybody there. Like every single person is so passionate and so driven and is like more than exceptional at their jobs. Everybody was so hardworking. Like I really hope that everybody can come out of this and like, find something good and, find their place after this. They all deserve it. So
Yeah.
I think as well, if by Wednesday when this gets uploaded, if there is a spreadsheet or anything out or something relating to any of them that are looking for jobs, we'll make sure to link that below as well. But as of right now, we're not aware of anything like that. So
I believe the company had one linked in the post that they're working on filling out with their employees. So I believe that we'll work on having something in the description.
for sure. And I guess that'll lead us to our next segment. Something we wanted to start last week, which we kind of forgot about. We want to, we're called the IterationFIVE. There's 5 of us, and some of us being basketball fans. The 6th Man of the Year award in the NBA, right? Very important role, very important award. We wanted to start our own 6th Man of the Week. It's just gonna be someone we spotlight for the week. Just someone we feel deserves some recognition. And this week, no better way to start it off when the guard and the Beyond the Summit staff, they're just collectively they're the sixth man of the week.
Yeah.
I don't know if that actually works like that, but
we can make our own
we
rules.
kind of made the award
Yeah,
up. So
we can
rule.
pick. Yeah.
in 2016, actually, Player of the Month for the Atlanta Hawks, their entire starting five did so well, all five of them won Player of the Month. So same thing, right? All of them did so well, they all get sixth man of the week.
The Atlanta Hawks are a really good basketball team.
They were.
Totally
They still are.
Yeah, man.
Surely.
Yeah, man.
Meat sports.
Yeah. But
I like that Trae Young guy.
me too. I'm a big fan of him. Got a ball right there. He signed that.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
Vince
you're
Carter.
hella into
Anyways,
He's balling.
you're a big ball guy.
big ball guy. I love balls. Anyways, that didn't mean to come out like that.
Yes, you did.
No other avenue. I don't know.
No, but that kind of leads us into our topic today, and I think is a topic that kind of gets barely touched upon in esports. It gets touched upon in a, I guess, joking manner and like light conversations, but franchising in esports, and is it really killing it? I think a lot of people, if you sit down and think about it, you can really sit there and say it could be or it couldn't be. So we're just gonna kind of go over that today, and I think there's no better place to start than with Overwatch League, right? The first major franchising. I think League was the first to franchise, but Overwatch League obviously being the biggest franchise.
And the first to do it with like localization.
Yeah,
of cities.
for sure.
That I know of at least. I forget if
Be a
NBA
Halo one out there.
NBA 2K might have had city-based stuff because it was partnered with the teams themselves. So that might have technically been first, but I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think,
And
it
I'm
was started
not
with the
at
2K
all in
League.
touch with the 2K scene, so I can't speak on that.
Yeah, but that's a little different because like the Atlanta Hawks have the Atlanta talent, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's all the same city stuff, I'm pretty sure. But Overwatch League completely took, Cloud9 and made them London Spitfire. Took NRG, made them San Francisco Shock. Took Sentinels and made them the Gladiators. Sorry, or I guess Sentinels wasn't really. I don't know that much about that one, but they were the first franchise to actually go out there and make it like a sports league, like your NFL, your NBA, your MLB, NHL, the rest of them.
Not to mention, it was more than just taking Cloud9 and then buying the London Spitfire spot. It was taking investor groups that aren't necessarily esports orgs as like that's defined and creating and them owning and creating a team like from the ground up. Like for example, I believe the people that owned Sentinels at the time, or rather that currently own Sentinels, I don't believe Sentinels was a org at that time. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was an investor group that purchased that spot and then eventually spun off into Sentinels when they sold the spot to the guard ownership.
I think a lot of teams did that. Like version 1, I think was one of those teams that spawned out of Overwatch League, and I guess like CDL and a few of the other ones. So
Rocker.
I guess. What? Oh yeah.
Rocker,
I thought you were naming another esports like never mind. I just really lost train of thought. Oxygen, right, as well. And there's a few more out there that have spawned from these franchise leagues, and I think it's a great start. But let's finish up with the facts here and we can get into the debate. Overwatch League Season 1 spots, they cost $20 million to be a part of it. Season 2 spots went upwards of $35 million. So that would be there was 12 teams Season 1, right? And then 8 more teams in Season 2?
Correct.
So
Pocket
like teams
change.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just pocket change.
Mm.
That's crazy. Looking back at it,
They
think
wasted
it's
their money. Sorry.
it's the elephant in the room. I think. It's no public or it's no private private knowledge that a lot of these Overwatch League teams have not made their money back. I mean, especially with the hiring of the new law firm a couple months ago or a month ago. I forgot about that.
I think they were projected to make their money back.
At the start?
Sorry. Yeah, because I think the game plan was that they were going to start they're going to have their teams local to their cities, and then they were going to do LANs across the like North America and some of Europe, and then COVID hit, and it totally got rid of any projected money that was based off of live events, because they wanted it to be more traditional sports style, and then it just went downhill from there. Just was like, there's no coming back.
And I think LAN events like maybe were forecasted to make the team's money back, but at the same time, I feel like as much as COVID hurt the league, Overwatch League that is, like it helped it a lot too. I forget who I was talking about this with. It might have been Callow, but I know, like for example, like the viewership across Twitch, and in this case, I believe Overwatch League was still on Twitch at the time, but just online in general, like doubled. Like that like helped keep the Overwatch League relevant. And I also worry about the travel schedule they were having players do for that season before.
Oh
COVID
yeah, I
hit.
worried about that too. It was so bad.
That could cause insane player burnout. So like, I'm not even
Especially
sure.
because they're all like 18 to 22.
Yeah.
Like just babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who knows like what would have happened? It's hard to even speculate.
Yeah, I mean, like in theory, it's cool, but I think if you're breaking down all the stressors, I don't think it probably would have been as successful as projected anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Especially like when you have a global league, like when you have Paris to Seoul to Atlanta to like
Yeah.
LA, you're just it's a lot of travel.
Mm.
It's hard on a lot of
Mm.
people.
Expensive too.
Very
Let's not
extremely.
beat around the bush. Either you're throwing your players on coach, or you're spending a lot of money to get them fancy seats. You know.
Are there any like esports teams or gaming orgs in general that are operating in profit and not at a loss? I don't think I can think of a single one that's not like operating at a loss.
A few that are operating on profit, and a few that are operating on self-run. Like they make enough money to keep
Like break
the org
even,
going.
yeah.
Yeah, they break even. They're not trying to make money. They're just putting just enough in to
Maintain.
Yeah. And I think just given the situation of the economy, right? I think a lot of people are just trying to break even so that when our economy is good, these teams that are breaking even, boom, they're just gonna, if you know, esports doesn't completely die by that time.
It won't.
Yeah. I mean, unless our whole economy dies, then I don't know if esports can.
That's
continue.
kind of out
Fuck
of our
capitalism, let's go. Wants to own a plot of land with me. We can farm.
commune?
I'm
They live in a
growing.
Commune.
I'm
growing.
growing lettuce myself in my kitchen right now from lettuce scraps. Dude,
Yeah.
dude, listen, sorry, I'm off topic for a second. If you take your like 2 inches of the bottom of like your romaine lettuce and then put it in a cup of water, and then you like replace the water every other day, you have lettuce in like a week. It just starts sprouting immediately.
I'm gonna get on that.
We're living
And
off
green
the land.
onions. You can do
I
the
know,
same
but
thing
I
with
do the
spring
green
onions.
onions. I do that.
Like, really?
Yes, it's
They
so
just come
good.
back.
But yeah,
Yeah,
but I
they
think
just
if
keep
you do
growing.
the
Their
lettuce,
roots get a little weird, but
yeah, you have to
whatever, you're
plant
not eating
them, the
those,
green
so-
onions after like a certain amount
Yeah.
of time. But for the lettuce, like I think the second time you regrow it, it isn't as good, so you might want to scrap it after that. But still, you're
compost.
saving.
Make dirt.
There's your tip, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Farming tip.
Lettuce
Yeah.
expires. Like when I go to the
Honestly.
store, my lettuce expires in like 5 days.
If you
and I'm
keep it
like,
in water, if you keep the sprout in water, like put it in a cup of water, it
Lives
lasts like a
longer.
week
Expire.
longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you
Oh.
put your avocados in the fridge, they last longer, like by weeks. They last. They don't. Yeah. Sorry.
Honestly, if Overwatch
I'm
League
really
teams had
passionate
these,
about this. Can you tell?
Farming tips. They would have made more
No, if
money.
Overwatch
yeah.
League had these tips, they would have been making so much money.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. They could have. Do you know the food costs they could have saved on the team house? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
oh,
They
Dude,
do
did
it
you see
on
the
lettuce.
Shock team house in like season like 1 through 2,
That shit was
maybe 3?
crazy.
Yeah. Did you see the Atlanta one?
the Atlanta one, yeah, I was about
The
to
Atlanta
say
one
that
was
now.
crazy too.
I know where that's at.
Or the Philadelphia Fusion one with like the personal chef and like the treehouse that
I
Sideshow
think
lived in.
I think every team had their own personal, or a lot of teams had their own personal
Yeah.
chefs. Yeah.
Well,
I want a
Shock had
personal
CrossFit.
chef.
Yeah.
Hire
I'll
me.
get-
I think
Good
Rogue
for
has
you.
a personal chef.
They do.
They do.
They
I
follow
think
me
with
on
the
Twitter.
streamer.
They follow me.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
I
say
thought you
he
meant like the
follows me on
one
Twitter,
guy.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Just one guy. Just a
Like,
little
that's
dude.
crazy.
He's really nice.
I
Good
wanna
for him,
do
I
that.
guess.
He's really nice.
But yeah. We keep sidetracking to food.
Sorry.
It's
Yeah,
like,
I have
no,
ADHD,
it's-
my
I'm
bad.
hungry.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
hungry
too.
too. No,
So
but
do we think that franchising is killing esports? Sorry, or helping it?
I think when,
both?
yeah, I mean, I think when they looked at franchising originally, and maybe this was just a way they spun it to people that were like hesitant to get into it, but it was like, this is like, it's an established league, like the players have security, which is funny to say with how we've seen the Overwatch League going recently. Like, because I feel like a lot of it was like there's security within the league, like it's a cycle that continues. The players like have guaranteed jobs. It's not like esports where rosters are dropped and picked up all the time. But now we look at it and it's like, how have the Overwatch League players not unionized yet? Like, what's happening to them at this point? Like,
the first like 2 seasons, maybe 3, players were in locked contracts, but what was happening is that coaches were hiring their friends and then like benching them for like a 70K contract, and then they couldn't, because if you had your contract dropped, they had to pay it out fully. So people like, I think Dante talked about this recently on his stream where he was like, Banny, whatever it was, Banny.
I thought it was
like
Boink.
It was Boink.
Boink? Boink? Okay.
Yeah.
So who someone hired Boink, I forget who, and then just like was benched, and he just made a fat bank and did nothing for like 3 years or something like that. 2 years, 3 years.
Maybe goes
So-
like Flame.
I assume that's what the Chipsa situation was
The
too.
dream.
It was like that I think was a
Like,
a
what?
social stunt, like a content stunt more than like
Mm-hmm.
you know, he was a content creator. That one I tried out
Well,
not
yeah.
to harp on, because he was a content creator for the org. They just had him.
Well,
on
I
the
was just
spot.
thinking like his brother was the coach.
Oh yeah,
Like that
But like it makes
connection.
more sense because he did something. He did something. He
Sure,
created
yeah, he
content
punched
for
off the
team.
map one time in a game.
Yeah.
He created content for the team, right? So
I think.
Let's
But,
also not forget that he was the best Doomfist. Like
He is the
as
best
much as we knock-
Doomfist.
He was
worldwide.
the best Doomfist
No, he
in the
still
game.
is. He still is.
who's
I
the
don't
new
know
one?
if
Is it
he is.
Quakedon or who else? Who
No,
are the
it's
other?
Chipsa.
It's me.
Dick
Still?
Quakedon is the best player in the world.
It's
if he's not
Mark.
on Doomfist.
Mark's the best Doom.
Yeah, I
You
kind
should
of
see
go
him in
crazy in that
sprints. He's
here.
going crazy.
True.
He's punching off
Yeah.
the map just like Chipsa.
To give
Real.
the league a benefit of the doubt, I did think how I view like esports, right, is like you never really are gonna make money in it. It's more of a sinking hole, if anything, if you try to. But like the best you could do is like Callus just break even. But I think what the Overwatch League tried to do was really unique, and like they tried to make money with like the lands and stuff like that. I think that was really cool. They attempted that, but no one predicted COVID happening at all.
Yeah.
And that just came and fucked all their plans. And like you said, it just washed away after that. The league,
Yeah.
everything around the game was terrible. And all that.
And when you
Stagnated
couple
like,
that,
yeah, go.
sorry, I was gonna say when you couple that with also the amount that they were paying players, like I think the salaries first of all they reduced the salary minimum I think from 60K to 30 or 40K now. I'm pretty sure. Don't someone fact check.
Oh, I thought
me
it
on
went
that, 'cause
from. I thought it went up from 50 to 55.
It was 55.
Yeah.
okay, well I'm lying then. Sorry. Anyways,
It's okay.
but when you couple like that with also how much they were paying and still are paying some of these players, like I get it, esports players make a fat bag, but like it's crazy like how much some of these players are making. There's players that are making the salary minimum, and then there's players who I don't know if they still are, but we're making like upwards of $200,000 a year, and I'm not exaggerating that. Like season 2,
Yeah.
season 3, like it was a brutal amount of money. And that's one single player that you're spending that money on, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What?
That's like why like they fell off.
Oh,
That's
I
why
see.
they,
I
they
thought you-
spent.
I thought you said,
Sorry,
like, uh-oh, like-
sorry.
Yeah.
No, like like that's why they got real bad.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I could also be talking out of my ass, which is very likely. So
I do know. I guess it's hard, and it 'cause I don't know many salaries in many games, but there's like Valorant. I know a few salaries, and I think those are around like it's pretty common to be around the $200,000-$300,000 range. But I don't
Isn't there
know
more money in Valorant.
I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't
I
know.
would
like,
assume
Dota
so.
players
Like it's
make-
fresher.
Dota
But
players
you-
make like a lot of money, and they cost a lot of money, but the Dota prize pool is like millions of dollars,
Yeah.
right? For like millions. And I think same with LCS as well.
I'd say,
less
like,
than Dota, but still in the millions. Still a crazy amount of money. So that makes sense to me, but I don't think Overwatch League prize pool has ever been
It was
that
just a
insane.
million the
It's like
first
1
year, right?
million. And like
Yeah.
if you think about that, like a single player being $200,000, and that's just player salary. It's not travel budget. It's not food budget. It's not housing stipend, which they were all doing until like 2 years ago. You know, of
Bro,
course
if you think
they
of
would
the
lose
league
money.
buy-in being 20 million,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
and they can only win $1 million back. Like,
How do the
Uh-oh.
other leagues like fund that prize pool? Is it like I know like Apex did something with like buying skins goes to the prize pool, but like how do those studios and those companies like justify putting that much money into it? Like, is it because
Advertisements.
Yeah,
I
but,
think
like,
it's literally just sponsors.
Yeah, sponsors are huge.
Yeah.
yeah? I,
I mean,
guess the
if-
Overwatch
like, for-
League doesn't have any of those, so
For like,
Yeah.
they
We
did.
lost them.
for Valorant, right? Like they have like the $12 million prize pool that they had that one time was also like part fan funded by the skins in game. But if they probably have like 800,000 viewers total. You can that's 800,000 people guaranteed are gonna see it. Like just throwing a sponsor on there. So I'm sure they're getting the bag for any sponsor that wants to go up there.
And that's only concurrent. I can't imagine them like a marketing team like shopping out like their average interaction or like how many people are like on average see the stream. Like you make money off of that.
The cat.
Probably more than a Super Bowl commercial.
I'm a little distracted.
That was
That's
dumb.
so
He's a
valid.
cat.
Look at him. His name is Tucker.
Hi Tucker.
Hi, Tucker.
He's tuckered out.
Yeah, he is. He's also
He's
evil and a
almost-
demon, so don't fall for it.
I don't
He's
believe
trying
it.
to.
He looks too sweet. Oh, never mind.
No, he's good. Anyways, sorry.
My cat.
Let's talk about this again.
You're- I
feel-
like you get serious with the cat. You're like, let's get serious.
Let's go.
As you have the cat in your arms.
Sorry.
Like to transition to another. Well,
Right,
that's a whole nother thing. I was gonna transition to another downside with franchising, and like maybe it's a trade-off that people are willing to make, but like I really liked Apex, like OGN Apex, not Apex Legends,
Yeah.
and like monthly tournament, like monthly melees, and like that's something I missed when the league came around. Like it's just they're very very specific as they are very like critical. Not critical is not the right word, but they protect like their rights to stream these players in a competitive environment. They don't let players like compete as groups of teams and other things, like especially not if they're streamed. I remember there's the whole situation with like Overwatch like, players were running like 6v6 like pugs back in Overwatch 1.
Oh yeah, I remember
And that couldn't be streamed anymore because that was too many Overwatch League players competing together against each other, and they were like, no, we own your right to be streamed as a group of 6 people playing against each other.
Yeah.
It's just
That's so stupid.
Those are too many restrictions.
Your franchising just kills so much of like the fun and like grassroots like of the scene that you just don't get to. I don't know. It's hard to like argue against it without making like an emotional like argument, but it feels bad. Like that's the best way I can explain it.
Well, I feel like like other games are doing newer formats where they're like incorporating some aspect of grassroots, like having a cycle up into their main league, their main franchise league, which I think seems more successful. It seems like Overwatch League is transitioning to that.
Yeah, I would say like
whatever
not to
the
harp on
pro-am
it.
is.
Yeah, not to harp on it too much, but like some of the stuff they're doing now, it feels like Overwatch League is learning. Like the pro-am is there.
Feels like they should have done it 2 years ago though. So
Yeah, it feels like that's how it should have started. I also think there's the argument that in terms of like profitability, forcing teams to market a whole new brand is also not a great idea. Like imagine if Cloud9 is working with like the Cloud9 branding in Overwatch League and not London Spitfire. Like sure, London Spitfire is great. Like I love the branding, but
it's not as recognizable.
it's just asking like a whole team to come up with this entirely new brand that they have to market that's completely separate from Cloud9. It's like if you want the Overwatch League to be big, you should have FaZe versus Cloud9 in the grand finals.
Yeah.
You should have NRG versus the people that own the Shanghai Dragons.
I think I don't know if that's a.
It
I
might
was
just
just-
be a person. Like
Yeah, I was just picking an Overwatch League finals, but I'm not actually sure who owns Shanghai.
I think also like whatever.
Oh, go ahead. No, you got it.
I was gonna say like another aspect of that of like losing your brand name is now there's like been a couple examples of teams that have like flip flopped. There's like there was the Valiant that left NA and now is back, which kind of like for a little like they had a following while they were here, and then when they went there, like they just fell off the face of the earth, and now they're not a real team. Now they're back and like they've lost their base. And then also for the Philadelphia Fusion, what are they now? Soul Infernal. Like that similar thing. Like there is a transition of fan base and a transition of recognizability. So it's like I don't know if that's that's another thing that loses its cohesion in that whole shuffle.
Yeah, I mean like the Philly Fusion to Soul Infernal thing. You could also argue that like T1 probably wanted to be based out of Korea the whole time.
Well, yeah, like that makes sense.
And,
like that is their parent org. Like that makes sense. It's just like now that they're transitioning their fan base there, it's like it seems more difficult.
And let's.
Sorry to
Oh, no,
distract.
you-
Look at his Pete's.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's trying
Anyways.
to touch the microphone.
He's chilling. Big chilling.
He's
I
out.
don't know what his peats are, but I feel like we're gonna have to have the
It's
editor
the little
censor that.
beans.
Little
It's
beans.
okay.
beans.
The beans
These
are-
little
The
things.
beans.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that was like when Cage tried to explain to me what like making like
Biscuits.
muffins was. Biscuits.
No,
whatever
that's
that was.
how do you not know what that is?
Because
I don't
I'm
know how you don't
allergic
know
to
making
cats.
biscuits.
Oh,
I am too,
you're
and I
broken.
have one.
Do you not remember when I
Understand.
traveled to fucking Ottawa and then almost died?
Dang.
That's a story for
From a-
another
from a
time. But
cat?
yeah, I just was next to a cat for like a couple
Was it a
hours.
big cat, like a tiger?
No, it was
Because that would
fucking.
almost
A
kill me
mountain
too.
lion?
It was Low and Vinny's cat.
One.
Oh, he's crazy.
He's a little
He's
rascal.
a crazy cat. Little Rascal, yeah.
Yeah.
That's his name. But
I have a
shout out
thought.
to Little Rascal.
What's
I
that?
have a thought. I've occurred a thought.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
about I think oftentimes people say that like, oh, like big companies owning esports detaches them from their community, and like it's part of the reason why esports suffers is because marketing isn't as strong towards the community anymore, and like grassroots events don't happen, and it's not in touch with the community that originally is the reason why esports even is supported. Actually, never mind. I'm not going to continue this thought because I don't know what I'm talking about. I was going to say, on the flip side of that, do you think that, like, my question would have been, like, on the flip side of that, do you think that being too grassroots and not accepting upper help from, like, huge sponsors or another org absorbing you or any of, like, what we've been speaking about, do you think that also does a lot of harm? Do you think there needs to be, like, a balance, or?
Yeah, I was gonna make like the devil's advocate argument that the Overwatch League, by having cities that are like the branding, like for example, I couldn't name who owns the Shanghai Dragons, but they were able to create a brand just like everyone else. They didn't have to like form an esports team for us to rally behind, like before they could join the league. Like so,
That's a good point.
it opened up the league to venture capitalists or people interested in esports without them having to start an org. So like, even though like as someone who's been a part, like a fan of esports for as long as I have been, I'm kind of partial to, I want to see Cloud9 and FaZe, but if you're just this regular fan or just someone outside of esports, like coming up with having city-based stuff in the eyes of like marketers and investors is probably better because you can draw in more people just by it being based after a place.
I'm going to say you're wrong on that, actually. But you're wrong and right.
I did say I was playing devil's advocate.
I think I think your main point is right. The last thing you said though, I think from a marketing standpoint, that the location based, I think maybe it makes sense if the land stayed in place. But I think a lot of people can say this. When I joined TSM, or actually when I joined Noble, I had no interest in Apex. Noble signs this Apex team. This team starts doing good. Now I play a lot of Apex, and I'm like Diamond, right? That's a pretty good rank.
Gold
and
on
so
most times, but
sometimes I'm Diamond. TSM, I joined TSM. Big Valorant, right? I wasn't really a big Valorant guy, but hey, I see TSM playing because I represent them, right? I watch all their games. Like, hey, I'm gonna give Valorant a try. Tried
also
League.
gold.
Hated that. Oh, I'm terrible at Valorant. I'm like silver. But I gave it a try, and I think let's say you have Cloud9 Overwatch playing FaZe Overwatch, right? I'm a Cloud9 League of Legends enjoyer, but there's no Cloud9 League on today. I don't care about Overwatch. I've never played it. I've never watched it. Let me just go give it a look, because I'm a Cloud9 fan, right? Let me just go take a look. Boom, another viewer right there. And you know how many, like, that happens so much. Like, you know how many Dota matches I watched before TSM? 0. I never seen a Dota match.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you, even though I'm arguing for a point that I don't super believe in. I think esports, to us, feels like this massive thing, but to the world outside, our, like, pool of people to pull from in terms of esports, like, interaction, is actually, like, way smaller than we realize.
I think you're right.
But so I think,
Yeah.
like, Cloud9 having a team pulls maybe, we'll give it a generous number, like 30% of their fan base, like, to their Overwatch team. But if it's a city, maybe it's pulling 3%. Like, maybe it's not a great pull. Like, if it's just representing a city team. But that number of people, like, in a city or following that city's teams is so much bigger that the 3% might actually end up being bigger than the 15%. I think that's the argument that, like, an investor would give you into why, like, it's city-based leagues and franchises.
I think you actually bring up a really valid point, to be fair. But I live in a city where there is an Overwatch League team and there is a Call of Duty League team. Right, I live in Atlanta, for those that don't know. So we have the Reign and FaZe. I could walk around my entire campus full of 45,000 students, and I can guarantee you less than 1% would know who Atlanta Reign and Atlanta FaZe are. Just because, if there is,
I think they might know FaZe.
They might know
FaZe has
COD's
creator
massive.
outreach.
they might
FaZe
know
has-
FaZe, but not Atlanta phase, if that makes sense. Like, if like,
Is
well,
it?
like,
I don't know.
okay, Atlanta's like, use it in the city term, any city. So if I lived in Minnesota, if I walked around saying rocker, like, no one's gonna know. It's because they don't. And I'm using Atlanta for an example because I live here and I can 100% say there is no marketing towards Atlanta. Like, in working there, I worked there. We didn't do anything with Atlanta, like the actual city, right? And I think maybe with the original plan of Overwatch League and the original lands, maybe that goes differently. Maybe it works out. And like what you were saying, I think the 1% is definitely better than 30% of Cloud9's fan base, right? Especially in a city like Atlanta. There's 10 million people metropolitan, right? 1% of 10 million is a lot better than 30% of like 300,000.
What's 1%
right?
of 10 million, Kala?
Don't make us do math on the
Don't
podcast.
do that. No,
Like,
don't do that. Don't do that.
I literally got my degree, and then there was another 2-year program after that, or to get like whatever. And I was gonna do that, and then there was a math course, so I quit college. Literally, fuck math.
That's base. That's base as hell. Holy.
Pretty sure it's 10,000. I'll be the stupid one and say it's 10,000.
It sounds about right.
I'm looking it up now.
It's just, it would be
10,000
what?
times 100
Yeah. Times 100.
equals a million. Yeah, okay. Wow.
Look at you go. Now you just look like the pretentious asshole. Oh, which one is it, guys? I know the answer.
What do you mean look like?
No.
Hey, doing math is.
Look.
I respect you if you can do like math off in your head. That's crazy. Sorry, I don't. I have like a creative brain, but like in the sense that I can't do what you guys do, but I can. I don't know. Just math is not a part of that. So
It's not a part of the equation.
that's why I do. That's why I'm a relationships manager, talent manager, because I'm like people are easy. Math is not. So,
I was an econ major and I dropped because I hated math. I could not do it.
so
No.
valid. That's so
Now you're a
valid.
marketing
Now I'm a
manager,
marketing major.
and that does something for the world.
Hey, I learned about Vine the other day.
True.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on the
It's
rise.
revolutionary.
Companies should invest into Vine because of its short-term video length and the attention span of the youth.
Do you agree
That's
with
what
that?
we learned.
True.
No way. There's no way short-form video will come to anything.
Yeah,
We definitely need to that's why we're making a podcast. Hours long, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we definitely
way.
gonna do a segment at the beginning.
You know what's funny is I don't
Short
even
form
listen to
content.
podcasts.
really,
I try my
Don't-
best.
I try.
I love
don't-
podcasts.
I love short form content. The only long form content that I'll watch is my favorite YouTube girly pop vloggers, and also horror documentaries on YouTube like Nexpo. I love watching Nexpo.
That's fair.
Dude, Nexpo's so good. His editing is just
Yeah.
good too. Anyways,
Yeah. My like
Sorry.
YouTube recommendation is like usually 10 seconds or like 15 seconds now. And
Yep.
like I watch one long form video, it's like 20 minutes long, that's as far as I go.
but I love watching movies. It's really weird.
Yeah, yeah. It's,
Now YouTube
different
Shorts is
content.
killing me because
I don't watch that shit.
I make a point to not have TikTok installed. I have never had it installed
Just
because
install
I think it's bad. No,
Well, Instagram's
But-
doing that too. Like Instagram,
but then I'll
the
click on a
algorithm
YouTube short,
promotes
bro, and I get
Reels.
lost for an hour.
Dude,
Instagram Reels gets me. I don't do TikTok. I don't do YouTube Shorts, but Instagram Reels.
I get all my Instagram reels are rock climbing right now, but my TikTok is like getting away from that. My TikTok, I keep getting the ones where you're scrolling for too long, and then the TikTok will give you a TikTok from TikTok that says,
it. Stop.
"Hey, watch your screen time." Like, yeah, maybe think about stepping away from the phone, and it's like, oof,
Hey, are you doing okay?
yeah,
You
like,
awake
hey,
in
it's
there?
been a
For
while, like,
yeah.
you get the ones where it's like it's late at night. Hey, it's late.
yeah, dude. So, and then I just ignore it and I pretend I didn't see it.
Just
Like,
scroll past
going-
like
power through.
if
Yeah.
I didn't see it, I
Gonna
didn't see
sue
it.
them later. Oh, I never
Yeah.
got the warning.
True.
No, but to get back to topic, kind of.
Sorry,
but
my energy's
also,
spiking tonight.
it's
Just
good,
anecdoting
it's
everything with like
interesting.
useless information.
The
Does it
farming
work
was
with-
not useless.
I would say, does
Oh,
it work
thank
with
you, that's true.
cabbage too, or like?
I don't know. I think any root vegetable might. Actually, I'm not gonna say that because that could be a lie. I just know lettuce and green onion works.
Would you try to not spread farming
Dude, I like
misinformation
to
on the podcast?
disclaim
A
that I
carrot
might be
would.
spreading a little misinformation.
a carrot totally would, though, right?
I don't know.
That's how you-
Carrot-
If you
make-
took
Well,
a
some
carrot
need
and
soil,
shoved it in the
some-
ground, yes, it would
Yeah.
grow more
Oh, if you
carrot.
put if
Yeah.
your celery, here's another one. If your celery is limp and like not crisp anymore, put it in some water for like an hour and it crisps up right away.
I mean,
Like,
it
I
if
think it
you
would do the opposite.
No, it crisps up because it
That's
absorbs the
crazy.
water content.
goes back into
And
cell
celery is like
walls.
90%
Celery is just
water.
water. It's just crispy water.
Bro, do you know that if you eat celery, you actually burn calories?
Yeah,
That's what?
that's true.
What?
Yeah,
like you
the
don't
chewing.
gain calories
I didn't
from
know
celery.
that.
Celery, I hate celery. It
That's
burns.
fucked.
It burns my mouth. It smells like when you smell it, it burns your nose. I hate that.
But like, it's a base of so many soups.
I think that's
I
a
don't eat a
youth
lot of
thing with
soup.
the celery.
I
Are
don't
you
eat
eating like
soup
smoked
either.
celery?
Sorry. Anyways, I'll just keep throwing random like veggie facts, like produce meal prep. Like,
if we made a TikTok account, like it could literally just be about food and food.
I should do that.
And
honestly.
no one would know this podcast was about esports. They'd be like, oh wow, they're talking about it on a podcast. Let me go check it out, and then boom, we're talking about Overwatch.
We're reaching a new player base. Like, what is it called? Like pool of people.
Demographic.
Thank you.
Target
I don't know why I
audience.
forgot that word. Demographic.
Your job.
For like esports and like people who like farming as well.
Okay,
And then that's
speaking
the
of
demographic.
demographics,
Farmer Lucas, holy cow, he's perfect for this.
Yeah, demographics, farming, organic transitions. Do we think that like oversaturated like markets in esports, especially like if we look at like LA when the Overwatch League was hosted there for 2 seasons, and by the end of it, like, not to beat around the like crowds were sparse. Like they had trouble getting people in there. They were like paying
Crowds
Blizzard.
are sparse at everything.
They were like asking
though.
Blizzard employees to like come to matches.
Even LCS, I was there like a month ago, and it was the opening day, and I felt like it was pretty empty there. I got a cool fanny pack though.
Do we think that? Do we think
Do you
that
wanna see it? I'll go get
homestands
it.
fix that? I do want to see the fanny pack.
Okay, wait. I have to turn my camera on for a second.
Yes and no, but I don't think
Very
it
short.
matters, right? Like look at baseball, right?
1 second.
Their stuff in baseball is like, I lived in a baseball arena for a year, and the 10% of the seats were filled for majority of the games.
It's really funny to say it that way when you just lived down there.
He lived there.
You lived down the street. You were
no,
not
I
in
lived
the
literally.
arena.
Guys,
I lived right there. You could see.
You were
it.
not saying in the arena is just.
I could watch the
that's
games
cool.
all the time.
It's a good
I
fanny
love
pack.
You had to
It
go
was
up
the-
on the hotel. You had to go up on the hotel
I got a little
nearby to watch the
towelette
game.
too, and a keycap.
It's so
Wait,
cute.
did you go on opening day?
Yeah, and I got a media pass, and I sat upstairs, and I was just like, I'm not a media person. I'm just here because my company, our PR team was there, and they were like, hey, you want to come to an LCS game? And I said, sure. And I toured Riot beforehand, and they gave us lunch. It was so
I
good.
love lunch.
And it was still pretty sparse when you went there on opening day, though.
It was.
Oh.
At least I felt like it was. I mean, like, it wasn't like there was more than a little over half the stadium was filled. But like there were open seats, like you could just like sit
Wherever.
mostly anywhere if you wanted to.
That's not terrible though. If it's over, I don't know how the capacity, but I'm assuming
It's
just
a small
like
stadium too, so
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe it's
if you've
maybe
seen the
it's
LCS
terrible.
like studio, it's not massive.
yeah, it's not big. It was like it's smaller than the Burbank Arena. It was like half the size of the Burbank Arena.
I don't know.
The Overwatch League.
Overwatch
Oh.
League.
Bala,
Sorry,
Bala.
yeah.
Half I mean, that's still a decent size. I mean, it's not like that's 1,000 people, right? 1,000,
No.
2,000. No, it's
No, Burbank was like
Burbank
a TV
was,
studio. That was like maybe
Like 100?
800?
What?
Oh. I thought it was closer. Like,
I can't do math. Don't make me throw numbers.
oh yeah, we're saying numbers. It's a
I
bad
know, don't
idea.
make me do it, don't make me-
Numbers.
don't make
We're
me
taking
do
we're
it.
taking the fanny pack off.
I got stressed. I don't know. But yeah, there was a lot of turnout there. But like,
well,
then you see like the big events like finals, grand finals to events always fucking do really well. It's just like regular games. People don't really.
get Taylor Swift there at the halftime.
Real. Actually,
We've seen
will
like
sell out.
LCS finals are insane.
Yeah, Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles was 450 seat capacity.
Wow.
That's
DJ Khaled.
That
Wow.
that happened.
I was there
at
for
the
that.
That happened at the Barclays Center.
Oh, I was
Which is a
there. I
lot
still get
more than
Barclays emails to my
450.
junk. my like regular email.
I don't remember why I thought it was like 6,000. 450.
And they had and that
I
has
didn't
trouble
watch it.
getting filled. Like it's
I didn't really watch grand finals. I don't know.
no. Burbank Arena, like where the normal games were, regular season.
Yeah, the
Oh.
regular
The-
season
The-
game.
like the TV studio. Like
It was
I'm
like-
pretty sure that it's like it was
Uh,
on the same lot that like the Tonight Show used to be filmed. Like,
Yeah. Really?
I see.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe that's a
They did,
random.
like-
All I know is there was a
fact.
Chick-fil-A across the street and it was always fucking busy.
They like
all the
they
time.
like shared
Sorry.
one. They shared it. That's all I
Yeah.
know.
Oh.
I see.
I've,
Well-
I've been to a lot. It's been weird. It's weird. I went to the doctor.
But yeah,
once.
I used
There's
to
no
go
way
to a
you
lot of
thought there
games.
were 450 people at the first grand final, Scala.
No. I thought the most recent grand finals,
He was like, that's so many people.
The most recent grand finals was the Blizzard Arena. That's a different.
which was like 6,000, right?
I'm not sure.
I think that was 6,000. I thought. I could be wrong. If it was 450, I wouldn't be. I didn't watch it. so
No,
I
it's
don't
definitely
know.
not.
It was a grand finals first grand finals, a lot of people.
Yeah.
That was in
A
the
lot of
Barclays
people
Center,
there.
right?
It was pretty
Yeah.
it was pretty full too. And then the Philly grand finals, I've mentally blocked out.
The
But I
Philly
think
was just a land, I think.
I don't know. I didn't even watch the finals game. I just left.
COVID just killed it all. That's
was
basically
fucked
the
off.
topic. Is that
Yeah.
after COVID, all this kind of went down. I think it's going to take time to fix, but
Yeah.
I think there's definitely potential in
I
lands
think-
and whatnot.
Esports survives this recession. It's just, I don't think this is going to be the last round of like layoffs that we see, but I think we're nearing the end. And maybe that's because it was like spring weather like 2 days ago and I'm being positive about it, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I hope I'm being kind of copiuming here.
I mean, like, yeah, the economy in theory, hopefully, fingers crossed, gets better. And like, I think there was definitely certain practices in esports that like were not sustainable. But I think, like, at least esports is crashing at the same time the economy is. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only like silver
Yeah, it's
lining.
not
Learning.
separate.
At least
I
everything's
guess.
going wrong at once. I guess it's like maybe a good way to look. Me if you're like if I'm trying as hard as I can to put a positive spin on things,
Yeah.
like at least like they're not like growing pains aren't happening at the same. But maybe it is the worst case. Maybe them happening at the same time is bad because I don't know. I don't have good opinions.
You're fine. But we've talked a lot about Overwatch League, and there's a lot more franchise leagues
True.
out there. So let's transition into really quickly. We can keep this one because I don't think a lot of us are. Not to be mean to the people that enjoy this league, I think personally, knowing the five of us, we're not super interested in this. But Call of Duty League, I think, for one, is
I
actually
love
doing way
CDL.
better.
I
Well,
just
it's
have to
doing
stay up
way
to date
better.
with it
CDL's
'cause
going
I work
crazy.
for subliners.
It is.
So I have to know things.
Y'all took
It seems
major
fine,
win.
but Mountain Dew, I don't know what's happening with Mountain Dew. That's one thing. People are iffy about that sponsor with the league. And then Major 4 or 5, I can't do Roman
It was
numerals.
4, I think. the one that-
4, Major 4, getting swapped from
New York to somewhere.
somewhere
I would
else.
say.
somewhere and then now being hosted somewhere else. And I think NYSL's involvement in it also getting, because we were originally hosting it. I don't even know why. I'm like so out of the loop. So like, don't ask me questions about that because I don't
You guys,
know.
like, hosted it last year,
Don't
too,
DM me.
remember?
I don't know.
It was really good last year from what I watched. Some
Major
of it.
3.
Yeah. Last
Yeah,
year
it
when
looked
NYSL
sick.
hosted. It
That
looked
was when they
great.
came second.
And like
in,
Gersh was
right?
like on his Pope outfit. On
Yeah, he was in the
stage.
Pope shit. Like,
Yeah.
bro, I'll get Gersh on the pod.
That was a
Public
really cool
shout
moment
out.
for me
Give
because I was like,
Gersh.
I coordinated those sponsor assets on the wall over there. That was a.
Yeah.
I'm acting like I made them. I didn't make them, but I helped with that. Like,
But I think Call of Duty League, which is crazy that they're owned by the same people, like kind of run by
Yeah.
the same people.
Like, how do you
that
fuck
it's doing
something up so bad and
much
then
better.
you do the other side is booming?
Because you got team names. I'm telling you, that's the biggest thing. You have Atlanta
That's the
FaZe
only difference.
playing Optic Gaming. Like come on. Like if you're telling me, look at the most popular teams in CDL. You have Atlanta FaZe, 100%. Optic is up there, 100%, right?
I like these.
I think LA Thieves, yeah, because 100 Thieves is so good. I think Subliners is up there too, just because
Yeah.
of how good their players, their branding. But outside of that, like Rocker is not, not.
I mean,
don't
Rocker
thi-
has
I-
a pretty decent fan base.
but comparatively is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about whether they have good ones or not.
I
I'm
think
talking
I think
comparatively
they're
to the
like a
top.
good case for some time. Like for example, what's it? Seattle Surge.
Yeah.
Like, they have a pretty good size fan base. It's also because like it's easy to point them out because I think you can also point out just the teams that have been good. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean?
That's true.
And so like when a team wins a lot, they get more fans. That's how winning works. So it's like it's hard to compare, but if you look at like LA Thieves, Optic Texas is I think what they're called.
Yeah, Optic.
It's Optic something. Optic Texas and like Atlanta FaZe would be big even if they sucked, even if they were 0 however many games they play a season.
Yeah.
But so with that being, or you're saying they would still be popular? They wouldn't
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, they'd be popular regardless because of the names.
Do you think these teams are doing good? Like the three teams you just named, they're constantly the top dogs, right? I don't know about this year, but I know last year they were the three top dogs all year until Subliners came in towards the end.
And they also have the pull for the best players because they're established. So,
Right.
like, they
Do you
should
think-
be at the top because of
Do you
that.
think they get the pull for the best players because they're established, or because they can change the engage? Like, so, for example, like Atlanta FaZe, right? If I'm a FaZe fan and I like Call of Duty, I feel like I'm a lot more inclined to buy FaZe merch, right? Atlanta FaZe merch. Do you think there's more profit revenue to be made since they are branded after their, like, I don't know how they do it, but like FaZe Optic, right? Do you think there's more revenue stream because they have these already? They don't have to make a new brand. They're very distinguished already, right? Does that make sense? Does any of that make
Yes,
sense?
I think it's the same. I mean, I don't know. It's not a statistic we can get access to, but I'd be interested to see like standard FaZe merch sales versus Atlanta FaZe merch sales and how those numbers compare.
But compared to like Minnesota Rocker sales, right?
Yeah, you would think that Atlanta FaZe would be bigger because they're bigger, but I don't know. At the same time, I feel like you can make the similar argument that we made with Overwatch League, where it's like number one,
Yeah.
like localized teams allows you to have investor groups like buy into the league without having to have an established org, and then number two, like I don't know how well ingrained like CDL is in cities. Rocker hosted a LAN, right? I
They
believe.
did, I think.
Last
Yeah,
season?
yeah, they did. They have. No last season.
And so, like-
no last season.
And so
It's like
or
2
was it this
seasons
season?
ago, or beginning of last season. It could be that too.
It might have been that, but do you think like with them having like in-person stuff, like I don't know where they play in Minnesota, probably like
it's not super important.
I'm gonna be honest, I can't
That's
think
like
of a city. I can't think of a
What's
city in
Minnesota?
Minnesota.
What is that?
Don't tell me. I know this.
We didn't start the episode with Sporkle.
Oh, true.
That's another time.
I've been to Minnesota so many
I think
times.
it's St. Cloud.
No, that's that does not
Minneapolis.
sound
What?
Yeah, there it is,
Minneapolis.
yeah.
Why did that's
right.
like?
Like St.
I
Cloud.
played that
St.
Tony
Cloud
Hawk
does
Skater,
exist.
bro.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound. That's not
American
the capital.
Wasteland. Sorry.
Because I think the Minnesota Timberwolves, their G League team is Minneapolis like Wolves or something like that.
Mhm.
I keep up with them. That's the only reason I knew that. But
Yeah, but
I don't know.
like, do we think
yeah.
like within Minneapolis, now that there's a big event there, like they have this team, do we think like if you walk around Minneapolis, you find more people that know about the Rocker?
Maybe, I don't know. I think I don't know if it comes down to event. I think it comes down to more marketing, like Fusion. Like if you guys remember a few years ago, the Fusion Arena, or not the Fusion Arena, it was one of the arenas. I think it was the Flyers Arena. They had the Flyers came up, and then another Philly team came up, another Philly team came up, and I think Comcast came up or something like that. And then the Fusion came up on that same billboard, like as like they're the Philly teams, right? I think just marketing them as another sports team, like. I think if you market it in that way, like, and you get into these, like, if, Fusion's getting, I'm assuming they had, like, not deals, but connections with the 76ers, with the Flyers, with the, what's their baseball team? Whatever their baseball team is. And so since they were able to brand and kind of, like, build these connections together, that people recognize them more because they're fans of the 76ers or they're fans of the Flyers. So if they like gaming, why not be a fan of the Philadelphia Fusion? Because now they know they exist. So I think it just comes out of marketing rather than the lands you host. But I mean, I don't know. I think CDL's doing pretty well though, comparatively to Overwatch League.
How did you
Doesn't
forget
help at
the
all.
Philadelphia baseball team was the Phillies? How did you forget that?
Oh, I'm so.
People-
Well, I don't watch baseball. That's the one sport I don't watch. I watch every sport.
I
But
only
baseball.
watch it as my dad, so.
Don't you love it when they hit the ball like out of the
Boom, and then they walk
That's just what I'm
around, and
saying.
then that's it.
And then like, they had a
Overwatch?
diamond.
It's so
Overwatch?
boring nowadays because the pitching has gotten so good. It's even more boring. It's because everyone just strikes out all the time. Anyway, keep going.
Dude, our podcast sleepers are falling asleep listening to baseball
Yeah, we
conversations.
start talking about
Sorry,
baseball.
sorry.
Let's go
Yeah,
back to
let's talk about
lettuce.
I'm
Baseball.
falling asleep. I hate meat sports. Anyways, I was gonna say Overwatch also kind of killed itself in a way, because the player base and pro players and even like in the competitive scene all just fucking suck, and like the creators hate it. Creators always talk about hating the
They're
scene.
bitching all
The
the
players
time.
always bitch about hating the scene. The fans always talk about how they hate everything about everything, and I miss season 1. I miss back in the
But,
good
like,
days, and nobody says anything
I
good
don't
about the
think-
game anymore.
I don't know.
I enjoy
There was-
Overwatch.
I don't think that is indicative to healthy or
But-
unhealthy
but then-
esports league, because CDL does the same thing, talking about like gentlemen's agreements
I
like,
think
before the
the-
season
the
and what they're
biggest
using
thing-
and not using,
don't
complaining
know.
about like who's using what or what the meta is or what developer
But-
has the game
but
this
then
year.
then you get top creators who talk about not wanting to touch the game, and then like you're just getting rid of a whole like
I
demographic
think the
of
majority.
people, and like
I think the majority of
It's
people are
just
still jaded for like the 2.5 years where there was nothing in Overwatch.
oh, that's fair too.
Like,
it's
nothing
like it's from all
changed.
angles. Everything just
I think. Well, I'm of the opinion that fucked everything. Like,
burn it all down.
I think that was like the biggest problem across the board for the entirety of Overwatch. But,
yeah. And
like,
then you have the company itself like not even like
Well,
helping
also
the
that.
community at all.
yeah. So it's just like the complete abandonment. I think left people like really
Yeah.
wanting for the new thing, and now that we're here and it's not like amazing, like it's better
It's
than
solid.
it's better than it was, but it's not like
Yeah.
oh my god, new amazing thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Also
So,
took
like,
forever to get here too.
yeah,
bar-
With no
exactly.
communication.
The
I
bar
also
is on
think
the
there's, like-
ground, and you barely stepped over it.
Yeah, literally.
And
I think
there's
there's
alternatives too.
over.
There's also like COD, like you brought up the Call of Duty League, for example, and people complaining. These COD pros, what other game are they gonna go play? It's they're controller players, right? So
Apex.
maybe Apex, but like it's a totally different game. Like, it's
Rocket
not
League.
even like
Leave.
you can't play League on a controller.
My grandma's going pro in Apex with a controller. Like I don't.
That's so true.
That's so
True.
funny.
But
She should
That's
stream.
an
no,
entirely
Good
different
time.
conversation.
I feel like
Yeah, but like I don't know. I feel like it's a perspective thing. Like I think because we are all like pretty ingrained in the Overwatch scene that we see it like as no one complains more in our game. But like other than like maybe the golden child being like Valorant, where Riot is just doing everything possible that one could do for a game, and even then I see people complain.
Dude,
Like I
you-
think there's a lot of games that like I think COD there's a lot of complaints. I think League there's a lot of complaints. Obviously it's not a franchise league, but if you look at Melee, that game actively is like restricted by Nintendo like that to succeed. Like
all Nintendo. It's so hard to do anything with
anything Nintendo, yeah.
we're gonna get copyrighted by talking about
Even
them.
even with our like
You've
Pokemon
mentioned
event
their
that we did
names.
last month, we were like, "Is this okay?" Like with some of the transitions, we're like, "Can we use like a Ditto like on screen? Like, are we gonna like get clocked?"
Ask for forgiveness.
They're like nicer about Pokemon, but with like they're Smash. I mean, yeah, they're also
Yeah.
like, yeah. Sorry, I don't know. I can't say words. I'm so tired.
Yeah,
They're doing their best.
Yeah, my brain
Let's,
cells are just fighting each other.
Let's keep it moving then. I think we've talked a lot about Overwatch League, and I think we talked enough about Call of Duty League.
Let's
Let's
move
talk
to
about
Valorant.
let's talk about the franchise leagues that we think are doing it right. At least I think. Like let's before we get into Valorant, because we can quickly talk about League. Because that's franchise. I think a lot of people forget it's franchise
Yep.
because of how well
forgot.
done it is. Yeah, it's franchised. People had to, at the beginning of the league season 1. I did a little research today. Did my research, and this could be wrong because it was the first article I found. But $10 million was the spots to get into league franchising. So you had to pay like Overwatch League, and this was probably back in like 2012, I think, right? 2000, maybe even earlier. So 1 million or 10 million compared to 20 million, like it's comparable, right? Because I guess how much earlier it was. Maybe not actually, because it's like 4 years earlier. But you get the point. It's a lot of money still, and they did it right, and they're holding their ground. I think maybe LCS specifically. That's the NA one, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, people say that's dying, right? But I think at least the other regions are flourishing, right?
Yeah. What's it? LCS NA, LEC EU, LCK
Is it-
Korea. Then what's it? LCQ for China?
I don't know. Oh yeah,
Thanks.
last chance qualifiers.
Oh, that could be a complete. I'm
Oh.
forgetting what is China's
maybe
league
not.
region.
No, it's not important. Let's keep it moving. But I think I don't know. I think they're doing it right, and they definitely
I mean, they obviously have a
So-
successful model. So
yeah.
LCS.
They
like they've been around for so long. So like
yeah.
Oh.
1 second.
I think they I mean they took a lot of this stuff, and the reason why I'm very quickly going over this
LPL.
'cause it's the the crazy reason I'm really quickly going over this is because they took a lot of their stuff and they implemented it. They took the things they did right and the things they did wrong and implemented it into the new Riot franchising of Valorant. What is that?
Ziggs
bomb.
Bomb and then Tibbers.
I don't play League.
I played a lot. I had a high school team called Tibbers MIA.
Oh.
Which is why I own this. It's like anyway. Sorry, continue. I just wanted to show this off. Sorry.
yeeted away.
So can we
Yeah.
see your favorite league character plushie?
Sorry.
That
They
you
Yeah,
have?
this
they
is my
actually closed the
favorite
gap
league
between the
character.
window and my
Yeah.
bed because I don't have a bed frame. I just have like the spring and then the actual mattress on top of it. So they're just stuffed. Like it's like a barrier. Anyways,
Prevent,
It's like
defense,
a-
prevent defense.
In case you fall, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's
My
a safety
trinkets.
precaution.
yeah. I like LCS. I think they're doing great. I don't
Looks all
know.
good
I have
over
like my
there.
TSM jacket and like the fucking from their original LCS team. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Like I
Anyways.
have friends that are still invested in
Yeah.
that from like
Yeah.
fucking 7 years ago. Like they still.
I was
care.
gonna say I still watch games and I don't play the game anymore and I still watch their like games like on is it on YouTube or Twitch? I don't know.
I think it's
Can't
both.
remember.
I think it's still Twitch.
Both.
I think it's
Yeah.
both.
I think you just
Oh,
do
it might
both.
be.
Yeah,
I still,
probably
like,
If
watch
the
their
Overwatch
games,
League
like-
did that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like I don't play the game. I barely watch the game, but I watch Worlds religiously every
Mhm.
single year. Nothing's more hype than Worlds, especially this last one.
If it comes back to Toronto, I'm going.
Real.
I will be there.
They had playoffs in Atlanta, and I was gonna go Doorcast. You guys know who he is? I'm sure we all know.
Yeah.
He invited me. He gave Nikki and I free tickets, but I had something wrong with my foot and I couldn't walk. I literally was actually so sad. I felt really bad. But I was gonna go with them, and I'm pretty sad that I didn't get to. But so what did they do right compared to Overwatch League? Like what is, like, aside from talking about because we've talked a lot about the branding aspect and the marketing aspect, there has to be a different.
I think
that
just,
can't be it.
League is just the biggest game in the world.
Well, yeah, and that's because it's so accessible, because their game can run on anything. I think that's really what it boils down to, is that like so many people have such easy access to their game, and that is just it booms, it explodes because of that.
They were there for the beginning of esports as well, in my opinion.
Also
like,
that,
I mean, not the
timing-wise.
beginning, but I think League was.
They set the
Dota
precedent.
was the first MOBA, I believe, and then League was the first MOBA that like reached a broader audience. And they were like, I think League was the first esport that people really paid attention to, and that sponsors really invested into, and became like a really big thing. I mean, I'm gonna get yelled at because Dota obviously is still always like the number one in prize pool for like grand finals and other things, but League, at least for me, like as a turning 27-year-old woman, like it was like in high school, like everybody played that religiously. Like everybody I knew who knew what a video game was knew what League was, and had either played it or was currently playing it and followed the competitive scene as well. Like playing the game and following the scene went hand in hand for the most part. Whereas I feel like Overwatch has a pretty clear detachment between like if you play Overwatch and if you follow the Overwatch League. There's like such a broad audience of people who just like are quick play warriors, and they don't know a damn thing about like any of the players or anything that's going on with the league, and they don't watch it, they don't pay attention to it. Like they're there for the game. And I don't think that's a thing with League. I think like if you play the game, you either are watching it or have watched it, or you don't play the game and you watch the league. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, they were doing like in-game integration with their esports before anyone else was doing it.
Yeah.
Through my
when
memory,
they put the
at least.
banners on like the
Yeah.
walls guarding the base, I remember that, and I was like, that's so cool. Like, yeah.
So they were just kind of the first to revolutionize it, and
Yeah, and that's why TSM is still such a pop and org, because TSM was the team to follow when that was all happening as well. They had like their original team with Reggie on it. I'm pretty sure he was one of the players as well. Yeah. So like, you know, that's why they're still
Yeah,
on.
that's
Like,
a- yeah,
Holds
rep
up the
that
anime
shit,
girl.
man.
Like, let's look for a logo.
Like,
on
nobody
there,
know-
maybe.
Yeah, it's TSM, all right.
branding
It's
on
so
it.
recognizable.
I think the tag is
Yeah.
TSM on it. Hold
That's
on.
great. I'm really glad that's the only part that I
You can't see
can't
it,
see.
but
Just take
I'm
it
pretty
off
sure
real
it's
quick.
on. No, thank you.
Okay.
and also one thing
Good effort.
too,
Good try.
Yeah, I did my best.
or like League as well.
some
You
views.
have people who played in that era as well, who are either still playing or like own an org or like are involved in the scene in some way. Whereas there has been such a turnover in the Overwatch League where you see players just pop off the face of the planet. Like the names that you see that are reputable just like disappear or like aren't involved anymore. Like they play for like a year or two and then they're gone. Like there's such a fast turnover rate where like I feel like in League you see a ton of like, you know, familiar faces like in different parts of the esport, not just as a player, that like just stay prominent throughout and throughout. And I think that their path to pro is also, I might be wrong, I think they have a better path to pro than, or a more structured path to pro than,
I would assume.
yeah.
It's
So there's
not
like
hard to beat.
bunch of factors that participate.
Yeah.
So people like,
They're working on it.
It's
and
getting
pe-
better.
and you get young talent and young people who are playing the game that say, wow, this looks like I can do it. Like, I'm going to grind. Like, I'm going to play this game religiously. I'm going to follow the scene. Like, I've got my favorite players. Like, and like in Overwatch, you have tier 3 players who are like, fuck this, I'm out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Tier 2
players are
like,
like,
Tier
I'm
3,
out
tier
of there.
2, tier 4.
Tier 1 players. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
That's,
but
and
tier
tier 1 players who
Yeah.
are
Yeah,
like,
tier
I don't
one
want to do
players
this
picking
anymore. Like,
collegiate over like a league spot. Like
Yeah.
currently.
Yeah.
They'll decide to not get
Many of them.
paid $100,000. They'd
I
rather
also-
go to college.
I don't think you see as many pro players being as transparent about, as like abrasively transparent about the state of the game and the league on Twitter than you do in the Overwatch League. I've never
Yeah.
seen like a league player go on Twitter and be like, fuck Overwatch, like, or fuck League, fuck Riot, like, fuck. Imagine a player saying fuck Riot on Twitter. I don't think they'd last very long. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe that's a scary thing. I don't know.
I
but
think I don't think I've seen a fuck Blizzard per se.
I have
have.
on
I've seen
stream, on
lots.
Twitter,
Oh,
and
on
like
stream,
Discords,
yes.
like.
I don't, but
On Twitter.
in Discords, yes. I don't know if I've seen on
You'll
Twitter.
never get that about Riot. Like from a
Because Riot,
League
do you think
player.
I've definitely
There's a
seen. I've seen. I've seen a
I think
fuck
it's 'cause Riot's
Activision from a
scary.
CDL player.
Riot's fucking
Riot
scary,
is
bro.
terrifying.
Their campus is nice though. I like their campus.
Well, do you think it's because Riot's... and I think this is way going back to what Sai said earlier. The communication between Riot... Like, Overwatch basically went dark for 2 years, right? No updates to the game, no changes. It was the same game for 2 years. And I feel... Apex is a great example, right, that I know of, where they make a lot of changes a lot of times, even if they're not right. They could completely mess up a system, but it's change. It's something new, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know if League's done the same, but I'm assuming that they constantly are changing the game. I mean, you have what like
this
90
game,
legends
dude,
or
they have
something?
so many heroes or legends, whatever you
It's
want
just
to
a
call them.
constant balancing, cycle. And from what I can gather, they balance their game really well. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
there's going to be tiers,
Well-
like that's how it goes. But like, there are more viable
The ban
options.
system, because they have so many
Exactly, like they
heroes
have a
and,
more like they have a. They figured it
But
out.
Riot crafted their game like for esports, just
Yeah.
like they did with Valorant, which I feel like we can argue is like doing like
That's
I see
what
people
Overwatch
like
players want
I
too.
see
They
people
want-
like complain about Valorant like a little bit, but like how can you complain? Like I get this want to strive for something better, but like as an Overwatch player, oh my god.
Looks like a
Like
polished,
if we want to like
great
talk
game.
about like Valorant franchising, which is kind of currently ongoing, the lock-in tournament's happening in Brazil right now. Like
Yeah, it's kind of crazy seeing all that, because I think I was talking to someone. I think I was talking to Kyle. I don't remember how like the T1 like scene is like really cool, like seeing all that, but also like it feels like tier 2 is actually taken care for too, and like actually like properly like I don't know, but
structured.
it's like structured to where like T1 and tier 2 have a chance to compete against each other, and they could both stay alive and stable with each other too. Like,
Do you think nepotism is as rampant within like the path to pro for like Valorant or LCS as it is most of the time? And I think it's pretty rampant in Overwatch.
The amount of times I've seen someone, I've kept up with Valorant like a decent amount, and the amount of times that a pro team assigned player A that I've never heard of before, I think just shows that there's not as much. I think I know what you're talking about, not necessarily nepotism, but your resume speaks more than your actual skill, if that makes sense. Like
I
a
just know
player
like
who's
a
been
lot of in Overwatch, like it's pretty common to just make a team with your friends that are at the top level,
Yeah.
and then like we've seen it. I mean, we've seen it with owl teams, like people picking up their friends and then just like benching them on a contract, and it's always been a thing. And
yeah.
even down, like starting from the bottom, from like tier 2 all the way to the top, like it's always been rampant in my opinion in Overwatch, and it's not really something that I've seen from like other esports like LCS or Valorant.
I think with how new the franchising system is, and considering that our economy's not like flourishing like it was during the start of Overwatch League, teams can't afford to do that. And so I think at least in the upper level, and maybe even the tier 2, like the paid tier 2, like not the pug teams and whatnot, I don't think there's much nepotism going on there. I think it's a pretty healthy system they got going on. Everyone gets a fair chance. I think. I don't play. I don't coach. I don't manage. I'm a graphic designer.
True.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Could be
Me
wrong.
disclaiming every single thing that I say on
Yeah.
this podcast. Like, I don't know, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
and also to kind of like
50-50,
Wrap
I'm
up.
wrong.
our big like franchising discussion like on Valorant, like if I'm not, there's no buy-in for for Valorant. It's like
They get
tier one.
paid.
They're getting
They
paid to be part of it.
Yeah. It's like $500,000. It's not a ton compared to the buy-ins of these other leagues, but 500. I'll play in it. I'll make a team. The 5 of us. Let's go. I'll take $500,000, right? Let's do it. IterationFIVE. That's a fire team name. It's
We
better
each
be
get
fun.
$100,000.
Guys, that's a great deal.
Or
What-
Iteration
Do you know how much
500
taxes I'd have
grand.
to pay on that? Jeez.
Yeah, $100,000.
I'll
per
pay the
year,
taxes.
though. I'll pay the taxes. I don't
I'm
care.
so
I
scared
thought-
of making more money because I'm so scared of paying more taxes. I hate
That's
spending money.
fair. Yeah.
How does that
I-
make? Wait, what? Whoa, what?
Whoa,
That,
whoa, 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 whoa,
Is
whoa.
that a
whoa.
bad-
The math is not adding up
that
there.
just doesn't make
Well,
sense.
no, we're not doing math. So maybe
What
that's the
yeah,
problem.
sorry. Maybe that was the
If you
issue the
make
whole
more
time.
money, you're not going
What
to
if
be...
I
like,
enter a new tax bracket and then I have to spend more money?
It's
But
only
you
on
still
the
make
tax
more
bracket.
money. You still make
It's
more
only-
money.
The tax bracket, like if you
Don't
so
look
for
at me.
America at least, I don't know if it's the same in Canada, but I'm sure it is. If you reach like the 45%, you're only taxed on the money that is up at the 45%.
I'm a contract worker though, so I gotta pay everything.
Okay, yeah, but like diminishing
No.
returns diminishing returns never means that like
Ah,
the arc like
McDonald's.
starts going the other way. Like it just means like maybe it starts going up like slower, but like it never goes down.
Okay.
Like, they never start
Wait.
taking money.
Who said
from
that?
you.
That's so weird. Anyways, guys, back to the esports conversation. Crazy.
So like if you were to guess which coast Vermont was on.
Yeah, where?
Don't. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm still convinced it's next to Texas, but that's just me.
There's
Yeah.
only, there's
No,
only
this
3
makes me sound
states
so
on the
stupid.
West.
I'm a smart individual. I have a lot of intellect.
You just talked about if you
I-
made like $1 more and went up a tax bracket.
I didn't
you would
say
lose
$1. I
money.
said more money.
So
Did not
let's say we're managing
specify.
a player and they're asking you about like they're really worried about this road trip they're doing from Vermont to Oregon.
Ooh,
How
This
would
is
we
the
handle
trail,
this?
the classic
I don't know
trail.
the Oregon Trail,
Oregon?
like that game.
Did you play that?
It's
as a kid?
also a
No,
state
but
that
I watched a
exists.
YouTuber, a girly pop YouTuber who played it, and I wanted to play it, and I
That
tried
shit
it
went
once.
hard. That was
I
so
tried it once,
fun.
and I didn't understand it, and I quit the game.
Wait, what game?
The Oregon Trail game. It was like,
Uh,
oh,
like
you
the
died of
first game?
dysentery, or you
I
didn't
didn't know
float
how to
your
stop my
wagon
family
correctly,
from
or
dying, and it was
whatever.
stressing me out, dude. I was 12. I'm like,
I would let all my people die and make the really
you're
bad
you're the
decisions.
person in Sims that removes the ladder, like
yes,
straight up.
Yes.
I like watching my fake people perish.
That's pretty good. That's insane and
That
normal.
was
Wow.
that's a dark way to like wrap that.
Whatever, get over it.
All right.
Get over yourself.
Get over yourself.
We here at Iteration5 condone fake deaths.
No, I don't think we
I think it
do.
was only me.
I think
Okay.
it was
We here at
Iteration one over
Side
here.
Gaming
Wow. True.
condone fake
1/5
deaths.
of Iteration5.
Billy,
But no,
sorry.
oh no, go ahead. No, you
Nope.
got it.
You can go.
Nope, you're done.
No, it's your I think we should
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm wrapping up. I'm
Momo,
wrapping
take
up.
over.
I think for the basis is if you do franchising right, franchising can save esports. Or if you do it as terribly wrong as Overwatch League, you have teams that are trying to. I mean, we never talked about that, but teams are selling nonstop, trying to get rid of their spots. Right, reported all the time.
R6 just fell apart. Like half the teams dropped out. So
Oh yeah, but that's not franchise though, is it?
I think so. It's
R6 is
Oh.
franchise. R6 is franchise.
It's Ubisoft. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
they're
were
franchise.
giving. They removed. Actually, I don't know. All right. Sorry. Anyways,
No, you go ahead. No,
I don't know
I
if I
didn't
can
know they were
say
franchise.
that. Yeah.
oh, if you can say that.
I don't know. Anyways,
Let's save it for next week. We can
Yeah.
pop back in if you find out you can. But yeah, no, I didn't even know. But so you can do it right, you can do it wrong. It can help esports, it can hurt esports. But it's a very I think it's not. It never is in the middle. I don't think franchising just helps stabilize esports. It's either going to help
It's
it a
never
ton or
neutral. Yeah.
it's never neutral. It's just going to be one or the other.
I
But,
think you just.
I
don't
do have
forget
a
the little
public
people.
article that says Ubisoft
Sure.
explained why they didn't
Ubisoft.
franchise Rainbow Six Pro League.
Maybe
what
they
was-
meant like
what was
maybe
their
they meant
answer?
like
I don't know why they didn't, but just they're not franchised. Is
no. I think that
answer.
means more of like city-based franchising.
Yeah.
I think is more what they mean because I think it actually is franchised
No,
because
yeah.
there's like in-game skins and whatnot for your teams that
Yep.
make it, and I think only franchise games do that.
Yeah. You just. Yeah.
But it's okay. It doesn't matter.
Well,
Sorry,
you
Rainbow
cut
Six,
it-
you didn't get your segment. We'll talk about you another time. I promise. But we've had a pretty
Oh,
good
Rocket
discussion.
League.
Oh no, they're
I
not
can't-
franchise.
I don't even like
No,
know.
No,
I
they're not.
just,
You're just naming games.
I know nothing. I'm just naming.
What about-
What about
what
Dead by
what-
Daylight? Like,
what about
that's-
PUBG Mobile?
Anyways, thank you everyone for listening. We do appreciate it. And we did get a lot off topic, but I hope anyone that wanted to know a little bit more, you got to know a little bit more about our opinions on esports and our franchise is good for esports. Are they bad? Hopefully they're good. Hopefully this Valorant thing in 10 years down the line, we're gonna be like, this was the best thing to happen to esports, you know? But just wrapping up here again, as we talked about at the beginning of the episode, link in the description below. Go look at the guard. Go look at Beyond the Summit. We did find a spreadsheet during the episode, so that will be down there below. Thank you, Foggy, for that. We appreciate that.
I was digging.
But yeah, so make sure you go check them out if you're hiring, or if you know people that are hiring. There's my cat. She's gone. She only made a slight appearance, but yeah, just make sure to share it around and help your fellow esporters out. If you're lucky enough to have a job right now, this is especially the time you should be doing it, for sure. But yeah, we're all one big family, and we're all on the same page. We all love what we do. We're all trying to make esports better, you know, as we should. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week. anyone else has any more closing statements. Anyone?
No, I'm tired.
All
I'm going to
right.
bed.
We're good. Sweet. Well, thank you, everyone. Make sure to tune in next week. I promise 50% that this video will be out on time, and promise that next week's will also hopefully be out on time. Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to tune in.
We don't
Thank
stick
you,
to
everyone.
schedules here.
Iteration 5, where the promises are fake
maybe
and
we'll
the
be
points
there.
don't matter.
Maybe. Well, we'll see. But
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.